Today is the 2nd of April, a brand new month. And Kai Mills is officially, mentally, and fiscally exhausted of the blatant lawlessness of Bakers Bay. How could this be in a country of law? Right next door, the great America. And I know Americans and American officials are watching to see how an American company could come in and blatantly break the laws of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. The brother said, Kai is so wrong that consecutive governments has allowed Bakers Bay to corrupt the officials of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, that the government only think about their people on election day. How could Bakers Bay operate an illegal ferry for over a decade and charging more monies than the regular ferry and got away with it for over 10 years? How could Bakers Bay run an illegal taxi racket for over a decade and still is running after multiple consecutive governments? How could they screw the F&M and the PLP? How could it happen? Dr. Livingston Marshall was right in the midst of everything. We heard last night from the Member of Parliament for North Abaco, Kirk Cornish, that Bakers Bay is moved away from that 37 million, 47 home that they were going to rebuild from 2019 after Hurricane Dorian. They wash their hands clean of the Bahamas. They don't want nothing to do with even helping. But how were they allowed to do this when Kai Millstones pay the authority figure to do a job and a foreign company and their management could come into the Bahamas and dictate to our elected officials and paid government officials to turn a blind eye? And these are the policemen, the road traffic department. All of these are on the front line to protect the sovereignty and the laws of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. And for over a decade, Bakers Bay has blinded the officials that you elect and the government official that you pay to stop a company like Bakers Bay from breaking the law. I'm not talking about 1 day, 2 days. I'm talking about over a decade and more, over 12 years. Bakers Bay is so powerful that they have their own electrical plant. Nobody knows what they charge people for electricity. This is the only company in the Bahamas, I think, that is not hooked up to a government-controlled price of electricity. They charge whatever they want with no input from the government of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas for over a decade. How could this happen? They're building $3 to $4 million homes in Bakers Bay without the authority of town planning giving the okay. They have about a 100 to 200 room shanty town in Bakers Bay where they're charging an excess of hotel fee $150 a night to stay in these trailers without any government regulation. Does Bakers Bay have the rights to charge their workers that working to rebuild Bakers Bay 3 years later a whopping $150? The Americans came to me complaining, say that they are wrong to their workers to have them stay in less than human condition in those trailers, in those bunkers, whatever you call it in Bakers Bay, and have the audacity to charge them $150 a night. In Bakers Bay, to date, April 2nd, 2022, without any government regulation, they are a lawless company. And the laws of this country got a lot of work to do to keep up to the inhumane treatment of the workers of Bakers Bay. This Abaco haven't got any better since Hurricane Dorian. The lawlessness has excelled and exceeded beyond normality. Where is the officials? Kai is officially mentally and physically exhausted by the continued lawlessness of Bakers Bay. It is evident at the airport here at the FBO. For decades they had cars driving onto the tarmac. Nobody is checking what they're bringing into the country. They're putting these people and whatever on the jets going into America. No security at the gate to see what the hell they are taking out, nor what the hell they're bringing in, because Bakers Bay seems to be untouchable. And not to one government, consecutive governments have turned a blind eye. I want to be able to sing that old Negro spiritual song, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we have law. And the lawlessness that existed in Bakers Bay for decades is done. Free at last. Thank God Almighty, we have a government, a New Day government, that's not going to let Bakers Bay take advantage of the Bahamas nor Bahamians, the taxi drivers and other operators. Thank God Almighty, we're free of the lawlessness that existed and still exists in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas with Bakers Bay and the Negro people of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas for over a decade. It still exists. And this is not April 1st. This is April 2nd. It's not a fool, but Bakers Bay has been playing the fool on the elected official and the government officials of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas for over 12 years. It's time to take the moth out of your eyes and do your job. That is why the FNM is miserably a bad memory in the minds of Bahamians. But we're still looking for this New Day government to catch up to the criminality and the lawlessness that exists right at the FBO with the taxi situation and other agency. Stop turning a blind eye because of the corruption and the lawlessness of Bakers Bay. Do your jobs so that the next generation can sing that old Negro spiritual, free at last, free at last. Thank God Almighty, we're free from all the corruption of the company called Bakers Bay and the lawlessness that still exists after decades after decade. Everybody want to be a part of the lawlessness that exists daily between Bakers Bay and the Negro workers of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. When can we say free at last of the blatant disrespect for law and order by a foreign company in the Commonwealth of the Bahamas? Are we a country of laws? Or are we a banana republic? That's what we want to find out. It's a new day. Hopefully, we'll see some law and order. Because Kai still watching. The world is watching. And Kai still cares. That's why I'm still here.